What's up, gamers? So last night we finally got some information on what to expect for Capcom Cup 11 as far as its prize pool. We were told we were getting $1 million for first place again, but the rest is kind of a doozy. So here's a little infographic that was shared last night. Capcom Cup 11. A total prize pool of more than 1,280,000 USD will be available to the 48 Capcom Cup 11 contestants, to be divided as shown in the table below. Additional prizes may be awarded at the sole discretion of Capcom, which means there might be like additional sponsorships that are made before then, or there might be player bounties, or who knows what else, right? There also might just be stuff related to Street Fighter League separate money as well, like they did for Capcom Cup earlier this year, or who knows what else. First place walking away with a clean $1 million before the IRS swoops in and says, our $1 million. Second place gets 100,000, third place gets 50,000, and it goes down from there. But I want to draw special attention to these two numbers right here. First and second place, there is a massive $900,000 difference between first and second place. Imagine what it's gonna feel like to get second place at this tournament. Oh my god. See, the reason you don't normally see prize pools like this for larger esports events is because what ends up happening is one person's gonna get a lot, which I mean, whoever wins definitely deserves a lot. I'm not saying they don't. And it's awesome that we even have money like this in the first place for this game. But what happens when you have it so top heavy is if you qualify for this potentially life-changing tournament, you had to win a super stacked qualifier. You had to win multiple tournaments, you won an offline premiere, or who knows what else. The only thing you're guaranteed is $1,500 for all that work. For everything you had to do in a full year's work, your reward might be $1,500 for qualifying, which is not great. This is why I personally would prefer if it was a lot less top heavy and they spread it out more. It does a lot more to help support the greater esports ecosystem of making this a more viable career choice for a larger variety of people. If, I don't know, first place got $500,000 and then you put that other $500,000 and you like spread it out throughout the rest of this or whatever, you know? Because then whoever wins still gets cleanly the most money, which as it should be. But then everyone else is, you know, going to get much more reward for how much hard work they had to put in to reach there. And on the topic of another split, Ace King of Suit on Twitter shared their proposal, which obviously this is a little different than what I said and only needs like an extra $10,000, but Ace King's proposal would have 250,000 at first, 175, 125, 75,000, and so on and so forth, where even if you just qualified for this tournament, you'd get 10K. See, I like this a lot. Is this maybe like a little too generous to people at the bottom? Maybe. But I like that if you qualify for this tournament and you had used basically the same amount of money, you would get pretty substantial things happening for everyone who qualified for this tournament. Like, any regular person just suddenly getting $10,000 is going to be able to do quite a bit. At the very least, pay rent for quite a while, you know? And then, of course, if you get $250,000 for winning, that's some pretty life-changing money right there. Unless you're, like, filthy rich, in which case, why do you even care about this in the first place? But it really just goes to show that, I guess, for Capcom, they decided to have this split instead because, I don't know, they just, for whatever reason, decided to really heavily hone on the fact that by having the first place get $1 million, they go like, and this tournament will give away $1 million. Like, they really want, for advertising purposes, to be able to say, we're giving someone $1 million, right? I guess that's what it boils down to, is it might look a little more attractive to advertisers if they say they're giving away $1 million. But I personally would rather they do something like this, and while they don't have to copy it, obviously, nor do I even necessarily think this is the best way to do it, but it's certainly a lot closer in the direction that I would personally prefer. However, we also got related news on a bunch of other stuff regarding Capcom Cup. So, on the official website last night, we got some news on what the rest of the Capcom Pro Tour is going to look like, which, of course, as advertised, first place gets $1 million, which is still really cool, don't get me wrong. It's going to be streamed on Capcom Fighters channel on YouTube and Twitch, yada yada. So the 2024 season consists of 2 ways to qualify. Top 2 players from Super Region and Super Premiers make it to Capcom Cup 11. Which there's going to be 24 regions for World Warrior tournaments and 144 overall tournaments that are qualifiers for said events, with 14 super regions, and then 8 offline tournaments, which are premier events where you can just qualify by winning them or reaching grand finals in the case of super premiers. So the way this is going to work is there's going to be 6 players that qualify through premier offline events, which think of this like, I believe Evo's a premier, a lot of other tournaments are premieres, and if you get first place in that, you qualify for Capcom Cup, which cool. And then 2 of those are actually going to be through super premieres instead, which is basically just the exact same thing as the premier tournament, but if you get top 2 in this tournament, which there are going to be 2 of, then you go to the cup instead, which is cool. It's another little way of trying to reward regions that are generally considered to be a little stronger. Then you've got the World Warrior events, which I think were really good in the first place. For anyone who didn't know, World Warrior events were basically an online circuit where there would be multiple of these events per region. Like, I think there were 5 last year and there might be 5 again this year. And the way that's going to work is if you make top 8 in one of these events, you get a certain amount of points based on your placing. And then if you have enough points at the end of said circuit, there will be one final tournament that the 8 players with the most points will compete in, and then whoever wins that goes to Capcom Cup, which I think is cool. And the fact that they have these all around the world means that a lot of generally lesser represented regions get a chance to send their best to the Capcom Cup where they otherwise might struggle to. This is really relevant, especially for players from perhaps poorer areas, or maybe they're just too young and they can't travel, or some combination of both, you know? For people who might be super talented but struggle to put themselves out there on the world stage for any number of reasons, the World Warrior tournaments are a great way of really opening the doors for people from anywhere to make it, while still having to prove themselves through rigorous competition so that no one's just getting a free ride, you know? And then, of course, World Warrior Super Regions. Some of the regions that are generally considered stronger will have additional players that can qualify as a way of not punishing stronger regions, because a common criticism of Capcom Cup last year was that some of the strongest players in the world couldn't realistically qualify because they are in regions where there were just way too many of them, such as Japan and like NA East. So having this as a way of keeping the value of the World Warrior circuit in the first place, while giving a little bit of something extra to the stronger regions, so that if you have enough talent to justify getting multiple players, you can, which I think is fine. However, there's a really noticeable absence here. There's no LCQ. There's 6, 4, 10, and 28. For Capcom Cup 11, there will not be an LCQ. You qualify through one of these 4 means, and that is it. No last chance qualifier, which kind of surprises me. I'm not really sure why they got rid of it, but I guess you either qualify through one of these, or you're at best a spectator if you decide to go to Capcom Cup, which, you know, it is what it is. Either way, it's still a lot to look forward to. I'm personally excited to try and compete in as many of these events as possible. I'm going to try to travel to all 8 of the offline 1v1 tournaments, which include the community events, to give myself the best chance possible of not only growing as a player, but also potentially qualifying. And I'm also going to be competing in the World Warrior events for my region, which will be NA East, which, where is it on this list? It's, yeah, US/Canada East. So this will be mine right here, but I will be competing in my World Warrior circuit in addition to going to those offline premieres, and hopefully I can make it in, but if not, it is what it is. Either way, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what to expect for the future, and let me know what you think of the prize structure. Would you prefer something else? Do you think it's fine that first place just gets $1 million? How do you feel about the rest of it, there not being an LCQ? Feel free to let me know, and if you want to keep up with more stuff in the future, just drop a sub and stick around. Thank you.